teens that were asked anonymously what a drug is. A drug is any chemical agent that alters the biochemical or psychological processes of tissues or organisms. This video will focus on the abuse of types of street drugs such as the stimulants cocaine, crack, crystal meth, ecstasy, methamphetamine, and depressants, heroin, cannabis, and LSD. Each drug brings its own specific high. In the 70s, cocaine was a drug for the rich and famous. The popularity of cocaine has increased due to the number of teenagers experimenting with it. Cocaine is consumed by snorting, and it brings a feeling of exhilaration, euphoria, hyperactivity, and boundless energy. Heroin is a depressant. It is smoked, snorted, or injected. The user gets a sense of warmth, and their pain and insecurities temporarily disappear. It may not sound that bad, but you have no idea to what extent it may harm your insides, or if your one try will develop into what is called an addiction.
Addiction is a chemical imbalance in a human's mind that basically makes a person to not be able to function without a certain thing. They constantly need it.
When someone can't live without something else
and
they need it all day.
An addiction is when you depend on something, when your body depends on it.
Someone is so dependent on something that they are unable to not have it in their life.
Is probably a feeling that a human would have that is craving a certain substance.
When you are not able to stop doing something because it brings you pleasure or you got into such a habit of doing it that you just can't stop.
Crave it all the time and need it all the time.
Definitely using the substance way too much or every day is definitely drug abuse.
The daily usage of a certain drug, basically you overdo it.
Just if you use drugs once in your life.
When you rely on something like a drug and you need it in your life.
I don't think that any drugs can necessarily be good for you, but I think that if you are taking a necessary amount to be helped with a health thing that you need help with, then it's fine, but taking more than necessary, I would call it drug abuse.
Overusing a drug, using it when it's not necessary.
Doing hard drugs on the daily, you use it as a need, and it really messes up your whole criteria.
An addiction can be defined as a strong and harmful need to regularly have something or do something. This is dangerous because the body begins to rely on the drug and it cannot function without it.
I think the topic comes up maybe late middle school, but it really starts and hits you in high school and college.
I think it could be 15 to anything.
High school and college, but anywhere past there. 14 to 18.
Actually come into play for people during high school and their college years.
Most common in teenagers, especially when they get to high school because they're more exposed to new things.
Because they feel an obligation to fit into society, and if everybody else is using a drug, then they think that if they use it, then they'll be cool or they'll fit in. And another reason I think is because if someone's not happy with themselves, they use drugs to cope.
Definitely because they're bored or they feel pressured and want to fit in.
Teens want to fit in with an older crowd and try to be cool. A sibling or someone who they think is cool, who's older than them, does it, and they want to kind of follow in their footsteps.
You may feel insecure and feel peer pressure to fit in with society.
According to research, teenagers use drugs for several reasons: to fit in, to escape or relax, to rebel, to experiment, and simply because they're bored.
Probably pot.
What?
Marijuana.
Well, most people say marijuana.
Do you think so?
I probably wouldn't have experience, but I wouldn't say so. Like, people make their own decisions.
It's definitely marijuana.
Marijuana, right?
Marijuana. I guess weed.
It is debated whether or not marijuana is the gateway drug. It is said that the use of it precedes other drug use. The National Institute on Drug Abuse stated that a person who smokes marijuana is more than 104 times more likely to use cocaine than a person who has never tried pot.
Definitely, yeah.
Fairly easy to get.
Yes.
Yes.
I think so. I'm not sure.
Yes.
I think they're definitely they're very easily attainable.
You never know if you could overdose or what it could lead to.
Because you can die.
Because it hurts your brain.
It kills brain cells. Using drugs is dangerous because, one, it's illegal, so you can get in a lot of trouble with the police. Two, it's just like not good mentally for you. Like it like distracts your mind from like schoolwork and stuff.
Because it can make you be out of control and like you can't control what you're doing and everything.
You could potentially die from them.
Using drugs is dangerous for so many things. Mainly, self-harm can get you in trouble with like members of your family, your peers. It's just not a good thing. It can really ruin your life.
It's dangerous because it can mess up your schoolwork and priorities in life, which is friends and family, and that becomes the most important thing over other things that are far more important.
Drugs are dangerous in many ways. Each situation depends on the drug that is consumed, the setting, the person, etc. As stated before, it is unknown whether one hit will leave your body craving for more. The use of drugs can lead to anxiety attacks, dangerous behavior, disturbing experiences, change in appearance, a fatal overdose, and even more. It can destroy relationships, futures, and most importantly, the user. Teens' brains are not fully developed, and the effect of overuse can truly be deadly.
Awareness.
I think drug abuse can be prevented if just more people know about the effects of what drugs can like cause to your body, and if you tell like your peers that they're bad for you and just everybody works together to stop using drugs.
The best way to prevent it would be to educate teens on more like facts about what could happen to them if they do drugs.
It's really hard to, because most students really don't listen to the people who come in. I guess siblings. I feel like siblings are the best way.
By awareness and letting people know the side effects of what it can do to your body physically and mentally.
People abuse drugs and like things happen from it, and normally people like don't take things seriously because they don't see other teenagers being affected. But if we were to show how other teenagers are affected, then I think that people would stop.
I mean, like everyone like at high schools all over have easy access to it, so it's kind of hard, but like if they weren't like around that, I think it would be so much easier to prevent it.
Stay away. Keep yourself out of situations where you have to say no. Don't encourage it. Let others know the risks that they're taking by doing drugs. If you yourself is struggling, or anybody that you know, do not hesitate to find yourself treatment. Help is available all over the country.